Hello, people. It is Randy Ritchie here on behalf of Premier Pro Wrestling, celebrating Women's History Month with the series. We're doing one episode a day, a short women wrestlers you should know. And I'm going to go ahead and call this girl right now probably wrestling's best kept secret. Now, I usually talk about people that I know. I hope you guys go back and listen to the episodes that I did about Gail, Kim, Awesome Kong, and especially Miss Luna Vachon. I didn't know Mschif. However, this was the cool part. I noticed Mschif. Now, NWA used to have all these different arms, and I guess this one was headed up by Ed Schumann, NWA Midwest. He was running a monthly event or every 6-week event / taping in Streamwood, Illinois, which is by Schaumburg and not too far, coincidentally, from the Sears Center. But it was a nice building. And he used to run NWA sanctioned events there, and he would ask me to rent my ring for the events. And I didn't mind doing that with Eddie because I liked Eddie, and Eddie, God bless his soul, had a history in this business. Eddie Schumann paid a lot of dues. And undeniably, Eddie Schumann loved the wrestling industry. So at the time, I didn't have any kind of pulse whatsoever on the independent wrestling scene. But I did see him bringing in guys that later became stars. At the time, it was a guy that was working under a mask as Delirious, who is now working for World Wrestling Entertainment. I forget his name, guys, and I'm not being big time. I just am an old guy that forgets shit. But all of his shows had this gal, Mschif. And I didn't go up and ingratiate myself with any of the independent people. I was still creeped out by this internet wrestling community and the people that they worshipped at the time. And I mean worship. I didn't want to get caught up in anything, and I just didn't feel like I belonged like an old guy that time has passed by. Even though I wasn't that old at the time, I was old compared to the performers like Mschif. Oh my God, was I impressed with this girl. She had a great look. She had a really cute look and appearance, and she had a great body for wrestling. Now, I'm not talking about being turned on by her or dirty old man shit. I'm talking about her build for the in-ring action and the things that she was capable of inside the ring. And one of the first things I said when I saw her perform is, holy shit, she wrestles like a guy and she stands out. And she did, Not to mention the fact that this girl had amazing charisma, and her gimmick, her persona, her character was somewhere between punk, rock, goth, and metal. And it was just perfect for her. And from what I came to understand, that was her personality. In the history of pro wrestling, you idiots, stop being something you're not, or stop trying to be Randy Orton or Batista. Find your own shit, because the best gimmicks are a shoot, and Mschif is proof of that. Rachel Froebel is an American professional wrestler who is better known by her ring name, Mschif. She'd been wrestling since 2001. And in that time, she worked for several independent promotions across the United States with guest matches in England and Japan. She is best known for her banshee gimmick, howling at her opponents and referees who stand in her way, as well as her usually flexible body that allows her to perform and be subjected to modified submission holds. And that's really a summarization of it. I always thought that she was trained by Harley or Les Thatcher because she comes from St. Louis, Missouri. But that's not the case. Anyway, what I liked about Mschif was all the obvious, and the fact that that girl was in there and she never phoned it in the ring. You could tell by watching her wrestle that she loved the business. Now, fast forward a handful of years, and old Rand ends up inevitably working for TNA Impact. And I will go into that another time. But, once again, I'm going to say that all you female wrestling fans and all you female wrestlers today should pay homage and consider paying homage to Dutch Mantel, because Dutch Mantel, an illegal pad, and myself flying into Orlando to the studio to tape television for Impact and to tape pay-per-views for Impact are responsible for the rebirth of females in pro wrestling, female wrestling. Dutch hit me up with the idea once again, Randy, I know we're called TNA, but wouldn't this be a kick in the balls? Are there such a thing on the independent scene of women that you're aware of that look good, but aren't just eye candy, that can wrestle? The first girl on my mind was Mschif. And I says, you got to see this girl. She works like she was trained by a guy. I don't know who she trained, who she trained with. All I know is she's from Missouri. I'm figuring Thatcher or Harley, you know. Now, Dutch didn't know who she was at the time, but he made himself aware of who she was. And as we talked about girls, I'd say the first 6 or 8 to 10 girls, Mschif's name always came up, and I thought, what a phenomenal, unstoppable heel duo to take Mschif and put her with Daphne from WCW. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do her own women wrestlers you should know. Daphne, bless her soul, what an amazing performer. She didn't get into wrestling to be a wrestler. They tried to force her to have matches, and she didn't need to. She had a larger-than-life persona. But right now I'm asking you, current fan, old fan, Indiot fan, am I lying when I tell you how compelling Daphne managing Mschif would have been in the women's division when Dutch and I incepted the knockouts? I don't think I have to say anything else about it. Okay, guys, again, we are celebrating Women's History Month. This is Women Wrestlers You Should Know. Please note there are no YouTube commercials or ads on these, and we're going to ask you to please like, subscribe, and support Premier Pro Wrestling at the links in the description. I think it's even cooler that I don't think Mschif even knows of me, but the fact that, she was held in a high regard when it came to the birth of the knockout, which, again, has changed the face of female wrestling forever. And I don't know what ever happened. The only thing I can think of is she just might have been done with the industry at the time. But, oh well. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Thanks again, guys. Like and subscribe.